Hello everybody and welcome back to another food lesson with Miss Allen and Miss Tongue. Today what you are going to be doing is undertaking a rice research task. Okay, what we're going to do first is we're going to watch a video all about rice, all about the different kinds of rice and how to cook them, what meals that they could be used for, and then we're going to do a little starter task and the main topic of research. Okay, so we're going to watch this video together now.
I know why you're excited. It's because Chef Devin Rajkumar is in the house. We love when you come to visit us, especially when you come bearing lessons.
Yes, I always love lessons and I always love quizzing you.
Yes.
So today will be no different.
And I always fail, guys. So help me out here if you can. Today we're talking about rice.
You sometimes get them wrong. You got something right last year, I remember.
Did I?
Yeah.
Last year?
So, we're talking about rice today. Rice is a beautiful thing.
Yes,
half the world eats rice. I was reading up on this. About 3 billion people. I know you mentioned you grew up on rice.
Every day.
As a Guyanese kid, I grew up with rice.
Rice was our carb. That was our go-to.
This was the main thing. So I want to talk about different ways, different styles of rice rather, and how to cook them.
Okay.
The first one I want to start with is one that you may not be familiar with. It's called bomba.
Okay.
And bomba is a shorter grain rice, as you can see. It's much shorter and fatter, which means that it'll cook a little bit faster.
Right.
But do you know what this rice is commonly used for?
No, that's not the rice you use for risotto, right?
Risotto? No, that would be arborio.
That's
and that's
what I thought.
Longer grain, shorter rice.
So I don't know.
Longer grain,
I'm not
fatter
sure.
rice. That's paella.
Paella.
So this would be your traditional rice that you're going to want to use for paella.
That makes sense.
I get asked this question a lot.
Okay.
How to cook brown rice and wild rice.
Yeah.
Brown rice, because the hull is not removed from it, it takes a little bit longer to cook, but use the same ratio you would with basmati. If your basmati calls for 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water, use the same ratio, just don't take the lid off as fast.
Okay.
Leave the lid on for another 20 minutes and let it continue steaming.
Okay.
Wild rice is a bit aggressive. You're going to use...
You're so aggressive. Calm down.
So for a cup of wild rice, you're going to want about 1 liter of water.
Oh, wow.
And you boil it till it splits. All wild rice can act a little bit different. I know cooking it for catering and at a couple restaurants that... sometimes it's a bit different.
Okay.
It could be anywhere from like 30 to 50 minutes, depending on the batch. I guess in catering, we're cooking bigger batches.
For sure.
If you're doing a cup at home, then it shouldn't take too long.
Now, are you checking in constantly, or do you have a tried, true, and tested way to make your rice?
I'm really glad you brought that up. With arborio and bomba, you're adding water as you go. And that leads me to another important thing, too, which is the basmati, which is next. Basmati, you need to drain and rinse. You want to soak it in water for 30 minutes so it blooms. And then you notice when you go to eat Indian food, the rice is separated. It's not connected. That's because it's better suited for curries.
Okay.
Okay, and then moving on to jasmine rice, much more floral, but again, the same thing. You can soak it and things like that.
Okay.
And then we have long grain rice as well.
So this is the jasmine?
This is the jasmine,
and
often used in what style of cooking? Very popular in one specific style of cooking.
It's very, very popular for Indian cooking.
Thai cooking.
Thai cooking.
Basmati is...
Thanks, guys. Really had my back there.
Basmati is going to be used in the Indian cooking. And then we have a long grain white rice here too.
Yeah.
So all of these rices cook a little bit differently. Some of them you want to wash the starch off.
Yeah.
Some of them you don't. And that leads me back to the bomba and the arborio.
Okay.
The key thing with risotto is that it's creamy. Paella is creamy. It's kind of more dense, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't want to wash the starch off that, when you're making risotto and you're adding your water and your stock and you're constantly stirring, you're in fact trying to coerce the starch out of that rice to make it super creamy.
They're a little high maintenance, huh?
Very high maintenance.
There's so much coercion happening there.
I think that's why a lot of people go out to restaurants to eat it, because they don't want to make it at home and sit there for 18 minutes.
Yes.
That's cool from my restaurant. So we have tricolor quinoa here.
Yes.
Not a rice, but I really wanted to bring it up because it follows the same principle for cooking a lot of different rices.
Yeah.
And that is... You're going to bring your water to a boil. You're going to add in so let's say you bring for quinoa 2 cups of water to the boil. 1 cup of quinoa goes in. Cover it, put it to the absolute lowest setting on your stove or your electrical top or your induction burner.
Yes.
And leave it for about 17 to 18 minutes and it'll fork perfectly every time.
Oh, really?
Basmati is a very similar process and I'm going to get into that in a little bit later.
Yeah.
We have another thing here. It looks like cereal.
Yeah.
This is pearl couscous, so not a
Also
rice,
not
but
a
I
rice.
wanted to include it because it's something that I use so often.
Okay.
And again, you boil it for 7 or 8 minutes until it's done. So that's rice, and it's easy to cook. And once you get it right, you got it right.
I would say read the instructions. Right? Because sometimes we just think, oh, it's all the same. I'm just going to do what I always do. But as you can see, they're all different. And you've got to look at the instructions on the packaging in order to know.
That's it.
Or you have to be Chef Devin, one or the other.
Okay, everyone, so that was the video all about rice, all about different kinds of rice, how to cook them, different kinds of cuisines that the rices are related to. What I want you to do now is, if you don't have a printer or a computer to work on the PowerPoint, what you can do is just write out these names on a piece of paper. So arborio rice, bomba rice, basmati rice, jasmine rice, and then all the 4 down here. Okay, if you just write them out on a piece of paper, you can do the exact same thing. What you're going to do is just join where you think that this rice goes to. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. I'm not going to give you an answer, because I want you guys to work that out for yourself from watching the video and doing some research. But for example, say I thought bomba rice was used for Thai cuisine, I would draw a line. It's simple as that, okay? You just draw a line from that to that, and I want to see your final line drawn piece uploaded to Class Charts, okay? The second piece of work that you're going to upload to Class Charts is the main task, okay? You're going to write a list of meals that you could use for different kinds of rices, okay? So you need to do some research on this. You need to think about the video we just watched and the task we have just completed, so your line drawing task. An example will be, say you wanted to use sticky rice, which is used in Japanese culture. You can state that in your research. So what I've done is I've written sticky rice is the kind of rice that is used in Japanese culture. There are a range of meals that can be made using sticky rice. These include sushi, poke bowls, egg fried rice, etc. Okay, so you need to write a list of meals that you can use, maybe explain them a bit. Okay, think about a range of meals that you can use for certain kinds of rice. Okay, please use full sentences and use your SPAG skills. I want to see capital letters, full stops, full sentences, and really detailed outcomes. Please upload all of this onto Class Charts, so your research and your line task, and I look forward to seeing it. Okay, see you again soon.